Hello there guys, welcome back to ENZO Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well today as we dive into, well, first video in a couple of days. The international break has taken its toll, ladies and gentlemen, and there's not much going on, at least in terms of club football. Obviously all the countries are playing, we're seeing what's going on. Nothing too revolutionary, nothing too crazy at the moment. So we now have quite a bit of little stories that are popping up across club football, Chelsea included. We're going to dive into them. We'll see what else pops up until near the end of the international break. And then obviously it's back to Premier League football next weekend. So make sure you guys are here. Let's get cracking into the latest. Talking about international break and talking about international football, ENZO FERNANDEZ went on duty for Argentina. Played, came off, and now we have a concerning update. So, what's happening? What's the plan? Let's get into it. Here's latest on ENZO FERNANDEZ. ENZO FERNANDEZ has withdrawn from international duty due to inflammation of the knee. The plan had always been for him to rest. He wasn't due to play in Argentina's next game on Wednesday. This feels bizarre. I mean, he played 74 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Alex McAllister came on for him in that game for Argentina. And now he's got an issue with his knee, but he was never going to play the second game anyway. So why play the first? You know, if there's a concern in terms of an injury or, well, unless he picked it up in that game. But I think the whole thing, if he wasn't going to play the whole international break and he had to rest, well, why not just let him rest the whole thing? You know, there's players that have not gone as precaution. There are players that are taking more of a break in this international break because of preventing something from happening. ENZO FERNANDEZ, we know, I think in a Chelsea shirt, is the player that's covered the most ground, more than Moises Caicedo. That goes to show he's been running like a horse. So in terms of preventing or taking precaution like other players have done, or Chelsea with their national teams have done for other players, I think the same. In fact, ENZO FERNANDEZ probably should have been the number one player on the list. So ENZO FERNANDEZ now with a little knee problem. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. He was seen in training with like a knee brace, not a brace, but like tape across his knee, obviously with that in mind. And now he's not going to play the second game. Just send him back to Cobham. Again, I think this is something that probably could have been prevented. You know, if he's not 100% or you're concerned in any way, shape or form, just liaise with the club and just don't pick him, you know. Now we'll see what the extent is going to be. It all comes at a time now where things are a little bit makeshift. Lavia's just returned. We know Esugo's out for a long time. Well, how is this midfield going to look? Andre Santos, we know, has been a bit touch and go. Let's see. Let's see. So that's ENZO FERNANDEZ, guys. Not looking great, but let's see what happens. Now, MARC GUIU has decided to speak. Now, we know that he's not going to be going out on loan again for the rest of the season. He's played, which means he cannot go on loan this January, which means he's here until the end of the season. So he decided to speak. What did he say? Let's get into it. Here's MARC GUIU. MARC GUIU to Spanish outlet RTVE says, when Nico said no to returning to Chelsea from Bayern, they called me, we talked about it, and it was quick. In the end, I want to succeed at Chelsea, and that's how it was. It was all a bit chaotic, but in the end, I'm a person who faces everything with the utmost positivity, and that's how I faced it. Now, enjoying every moment because a footballer's career is short, and that's what I'm doing, enjoying every moment that life gives me. There was never disappointment at leaving Sunderland. I believe that every action I take in my career is because I want to, and that's it. I'm going to fight in every training session, every game, every minute I have to play as minutes as possible. I mean, it's great to hear. At face value, it's great to hear. He has to maximise it now because he's not going anywhere. The whole thing that we had in our heads was probably he was going to go on loan again this January, and we had the whole inclination of maybe a Mega coming into Chelsea from Strasbourg. That's not happening. So MARC GUIU, you got a window. I think up until the end of 2025, that's a window where you have to impress. If not, the lap is going to come back. And if the lap comes back, then there's probably not going to be much game time. Back end of the season, things get a bit more serious. Games become a lot more serious. You're not really going to experiment in those games. Now is the time where we have many, I think, well, at least with the League Cup, at least with the FA Cup that's going to come at some point, maybe there's going to be a chance, an opportunity for minutes. MARC GUIU needs to maximise that. I feel like he'd done that against Liverpool, to be fair to him. And if he just keeps on that trajectory, then hopefully he gives us good things this season for the time that we are going to use him. Obviously, we can't rely on him because he's not ready. Let's be honest. He is raw. We know this. So MARC GUIU, he's optimistic. He's looking at this positively. He's ready for the challenge. Great. Bring it on. And like I said, once the international break ends, we've got a heavy schedule. So this is where the opportunity is. Here's the schedule. Next 6 games: Nottingham Forest, Ajax, Sunderland, Wolves, Tottenham and Qarabag away. This is all before, right after that is Barcelona and Arsenal. So that's been left out, but it's very heavy now. Very heavy now. So this is where things have to be managed. Players need to show up. We have to think about rotation from time to time. It's not going to be the same players every single game, every single minute. Everyone needs to chip in. Everyone needs to chip in. This is where it gets difficult. And this is where everyone needs to put their heads down and really give everything. Manager, players that are selected normally, players that are not. Everyone needs to give their part here. So let's see how MARC GUIU is going to contribute. But let me know in the comments, what do you expect from MARC GUIU? And do you think it's going to be anything substantial that he brings to the table? Or are you not really expecting much? Maybe the odd little thing here and there, and that's about it. Let me know what your outlook on MARC GUIU is. I'd love to know. Now, Enzo Maresca has decided to speak. I think he spoke to Sport Italia. So let's get into what he's had to say. Here's Enzo Maresca. It's a great feeling. This is my 2nd season at the club, but we'd never won in the last minute at home before. The reaction that led to the sending off was instinctive, but maybe it was worth it. We're talking about one of the biggest clubs in the world, one that has struggled in recent years for various reasons. He goes on to say, when I first signed, I felt the pressure of being the only Italian not to have won here in Italy, but fortunately it hasn't gone that way. Bringing this club back to the top is a very satisfying feeling. And he also said, off the back of, we had a great game against PSG. It was a classic situation. Everyone had them as favourites. We beat a team that I think were the strongest in the world at that moment, but I don't go into work every day because we won the World Championship. He said, we played 7 different games. We tried to make changes and tried to surprise opponents, and it went well. There were several injuries, but it was worth it, and I wouldn't change anything given the result. The trophy is wonderful, even if it is a bit heavy. The thing about him taking Chelsea back to the top, let's be honest, we're not there yet, right? I understand the top in terms of, okay, winning that Club World Cup, beating PSG, best team in the world at that time, still now, some would argue, even doing what we did against Liverpool. It shows that we have what it takes to do what we want to do on our day. It's just about consistency and making sure we bring that to the table every single game. That's what top teams do. And if you do that, you put yourself into contention of winning titles. And that's what we want. And that's how you know you're back at the top. That one little detail we've not been doing yet. That is going to define whether we're at the top or not. So Maresca maybe, I don't know, I don't want to say getting carried away here, but you get the gist. Maybe he just wants to speak really nicely about things because it's been going well. Let's see how the reaction off the Liverpool win is going to be. Forest is next. We have to, and look, talking about Forest, I'm going to talk about them next. We have to get a good result against Forest. Yeah, we have to make sure now we build some momentum. Can we build some momentum? I think it's important that we do that. Maresca though, so far so good. Just, I think he's missing the next game unless we get it appealed and it works. I don't know if we're going to do that, but he needs to make sure that he doesn't make the same errors and mistakes like we saw whenever we have a disadvantage and he starts to panic. As long as he does things correctly, like he done in that Liverpool game, we should be in a good place. So let's see how things are going to move forward. Nottingham Forest next. Now, talking about Nottingham Forest, it's all going wrong over there, which probably means we're going to give them 3 points because we're Charity FC. So let's hope not. But latest on Forest, here it is. Evangelos Marinakis is considering parting ways with second manager of the season as Sean Dyche waits in the wings. So Ange Postecoglou is under pressure already. Now he's not won a game at Forest yet, right? He's gone 007 basically, and it's not looking good. Now I didn't expect it to be this bad. I knew that there would be transition because when you move from a club like Forest, they're not exactly Manchester City or Arsenal. You know, a team where there's so much quality that even if you change the manager, the players should have enough quality to be able to pull it off. Especially a change of football. Nottingham Forest have changed the entire philosophy. When you've gone from Nuno and his way to Ange Postecoglou and his way, it's one extreme to the other. For a club like Forest, that's going to take time, whether people like it or not. This is why when the move happened, I was like, you know what, okay, I get it. Don't expect anything too soon, but I think with enough time, it could go well. It could go well. It's gone so bad so soon though that everyone's panicking, and it seems like the owner is panicking as well. What is he going to do now? Well, Sean Dyche is already lined up. So let me put it this way. If Chelsea beat Forest on the weekend, I think Ange is out. And we need Chelsea to win that game, so I think Ange is out. And then Sean Dyche comes in, and this is where you start to question why sack Nuno in the first place then. I understand obviously him and owner, things didn't go well towards the end, but you've gone from Nuno to Ange, who plays a very attacking, flipping, sometimes nonsensical attacking style of football, to now go to Sean Dyche. Proper 4-4-2, park the bus, Brexit, lump it long, target man number 9, sort of long throw Rory Delap football. Where's the direction? If you go to Sean Dyche, you just shouldn't have got rid of Nuno. That's just the truth. So, has it been a waste of time? Basically, has it all been a waste of time? If they get Sean Dyche in, yes. Now, Sean Dyche is the sort of man to definitely keep you up in the Premier League. But Nottingham Forest, based on what they achieved last season, should not be thinking about relegation. They should be thinking about minimum top half of the table, trying to get a European spot again. Sean Dyche isn't going to do that either. You know? So, it's one of those things where, look, with Ange, you stick it out. You stick it out. Or if you're that concerned and it goes wrong, really, really wrong, then you just gotta, I guess, just soak it up, you know, take your losses and you want to try and attract someone better than Sean Dyche. And I like Sean Dyche, but Sean Dyche isn't going to be the guy to get you to a European spot. He's just not that guy. So if you're going to change manager, aim higher. Basically, aim higher. And then let the person work. But you can't be chopping and changing after 7-8 games every single time. You just can't. So let's see what goes down. But like I've said, Chelsea have the chance to basically put the final nail in the coffin here for Ange Postecoglou. Let's see what happens. Now, before we wrap up, we've got 2 more stories. Man United we'll focus on because we spoke about them in the last video. Here's the latest. The Athletic are saying the Glazers are reportedly considering selling Man United before 2027 to maximise profits. Potential buyers include Sheikh Jassim from Qatar, UAE Group, Saudi investors despite denials, and several private equity firms. This would be the best thing for the Glazers to do, right? Because it's not going to get any better from here in terms of cashing in, right? Man United are a long way from being at the top again, unless they change the entire strategy and philosophy at the football club. Manchester United right now, with so much institutional issue, with a new owner coming in, could revive everything, because United do generate enough revenue for them to be able to do what they have to do in the transfer market to get themselves back to the top. These groups that are rumoured would definitely do that. The Glazers won't. So if they do want to maximise before things get really bad for United and the value starts to drop, which will take some time, it's probably best for them to cash in ASAP. Now, if they do that, who's gonna buy? Because you need a buyer. In order to sell, you need a buyer. So who's going to buy? Well, it's like it's been mentioned here. The Saudi group's apparently in denial. Sheikh Jassim was rumoured. We don't even know if this brother exists. Like, is he real? Like, do you remember the whole Sheikh Jassim thing before Ineos came in? No one was even certain what was going on with Sheikh Jassim. That was so tight-lipped. The UAE groups we've already known in terms of that being legit, and Turki Al-Sheikh has made that public himself without mentioning the UAE. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. United are big enough to be able to attract a buyer. But who is it going to be, and is it going to be the right one? That's key. So, are the Glazers going to sell? I'll be honest, if I'm predicting, I reckon yes. Maybe not just yet. Maybe one more season, maybe they cash in. I don't know. Personally, that's just my gut feeling, because I don't see the Glazers staying any longer. You know, 20 years is enough. It's not gone as well as I think they anticipated. I think they're going to want to cash in, because for them, business is business. And United have gone so far down that you're probably risking the value starting to drop if you keep them that down. So let's see. Let's see what goes down there. Do you think they'll sell? Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think they'll sell, or do you think they won't, and do you think they'll stick around? And if they do sell, to who? Let me know. Now, last story to wrap up. We've got news from Zidane. Everyone's kind of been wondering, what's this brother doing? You know, he left Real Madrid after winning 3 Champions Leagues, and then we just never heard anything again. Like, does he want to manage? Does he want to coach? So many opportunities had popped up, Premier League included, and we kept hearing he's not interested. He's not interested. He's not interested. Well, now I think we know why, because he has spoken, and this is kind of what everyone kind of knew already. Here it is. He says, "For sure, I'm returning to work as a head coach. It's my plan. My desire is to become France head coach one day. Let's see," he said at the Festival de la Sport. Perfect timing, because Didier Deschamps is probably going to take France to the last tournament, which is the World Cup coming up, and then that's it. Didier Deschamps will be done, and then the coast will be clear for Zidane to walk in and be the new France manager. That is so obviously going to happen. Yeah, you could bet a house on it. It's that clear and obvious. And this is why I say the timing of Zidane is very interesting here, because I don't think he could have picked a better moment. He knows the World Cup isn't too far away. Deschamps is making the plans for that. He is going to be in charge for that. But Zidane's basically putting himself front of the line and going, by the way, when you do make the change, because it's going to come at the end of the World Cup, I'm here and I'm ready. Hence why he's not taken any club football job, because it would mean that he would have to leave it. And I think he's not too fussed in terms of that. He's always wanted the France job. That was a rumour for the last 2-3 years. That he's always wanted the France job. And it just never came about, because Didier Deschamps was still working. But now everyone knows Deschamps reached the end. So if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it's end of contract as well. I think it is the end of his contract. So let's see. But you best believe Zidane will be the next France manager. You heard it here first. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think he would do well there? I think he would do well, but let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. Subscribe, notification bell on. Make sure you guys are here as we wrap up the international break and we get back to the routine. We get back to club football and we get back to the nitty gritty, because nothing's been going on. So bring back club football and let's get this bad boy back on the road. Let's get this season back on track. So let me know your thoughts down below. See you lot on the next one, people. Subscribe and I'll catch you soon in a bit. Take care, people. Look after yourselves in a bit, and peace.